I've talked about it before. Hackers, scammers, cyber criminals, they think a little differently than the average bear, all right? Things that you and I may not think about. Especially let's talk about hackers. And hackers are used, can be independent contractors. Yes, I said contractors. It is a job for many of these guys and gals. Or it could just be an interest. Some people, hackers, think, as I said, differently. They look at something and go, okay, so it does A, B, and C, but why? And can't I make it do E, D, and F? Why can't I do that? And they'll try to figure out ways to make software or make hardware actually do what they want it to do, or see how far they can get with it. They're not bounded by boxes. If you think of out-of-box thinkers, hackers would be top list on that, because they're always looking at why and how and experimenting and seeing just how far they can go with it, which is why patching software becomes so important. And you say, Scott, what do you mean by patching software? Easy. Updating it. Updates come out quite often for all software, actually. And the reason these updates and security updates are occurring is because problems are found. And why should you take it super serious? And by you, I mean you right there. Why should you take it serious? Well, let's take last week, for example. We learned that there was a flaw in Adobe Reader software. All right, who on their computers, whether it's a PC or Mac, uses Adobe Reader? I think the majority of the internet uses Adobe Reader. It's free. It allows you to read PDF documents. Anyone using Microsoft Office, for example? Last week, a vulnerability in Excel came out that allowed hackers, if they were able to get in and use this vulnerability, to raise their privileges, their user rights to access on your local computer. Same issue if you use Zoom. Zoom is super popular for web meetings, for online. Well, if you happen to be hosting or running the Zoom and there's somebody else on the call, they could try to take advantage of a flaw. Now, these all sound drastic and terrible, like, oh my goodness, and they could be. If you go a long time and don't update this stuff, it is an oh my goodness. WannaCry, which was probably the biggest spreading virus that we've seen so far, when it was released 2 years ago, it went across like 150 different countries, over 200,000 computers. They were all infected in like 4 hours or less. It was crazy just how fast that thing went. Why do I bring that up? Well, the vulnerability the hackers took advantage of had actually been fixed by Microsoft 9 months earlier. The fix for the problem had been out, but people hadn't updated their systems. At least over 200,000 of them. And when WannaCry came out and made all these headlines a couple of years ago, it was on the news, it was all over the world. A couple of months later, another hacking group thought, I wonder if we could do that. And they created a different virus, went after the exact same vulnerability, and hit hundreds of thousands more people. So even after Microsoft released a fix, it had been out there for 9 months, and even after that, a hacking group took advantage of it and actually exploited that vulnerability, and it made the news and said, hey, this is how they did it. People still didn't update their software. So who's to blame when you get hacked? It's a valid question. You got to think about it. If the update's out there and you see prompts, should I update my software? Yeah, you probably should. Get that latest software in there and update it. So I've already mentioned the sake of at least 3 products last week. Adobe Reader, Microsoft Office 365, and also Zoom. If you're using Zoom, get the latest version. It plugs these security holes. I also saw something on alert from Homeland Security that talked about the Cisco Connect Anywhere software. The reason I'm mentioning that one right now, with so many people working from home, if your remote connection to the office is through that Cisco Home Connect, make sure to talk to your IT department or wherever you got that software from and get that updated as well. Because if they compromise the VPN connection and are able to then kind of see that traffic, they can see what's going on at the office, which takes your computer being infected one step worse by giving them an open door into the company. So if you happen to use that Cisco Connect Anywhere software, you want to make sure that one gets updated too. So, what's the moral of the story? Update your software when the security updates come out. Because I just told you about reading a Homeland Security alert. Microsoft releases patches all the time, and they make news. They're available online. You'll get prompted in your computer saying, hey, there's an update available. Do you want to update it? Well, guess what? The hackers also learn that these vulnerabilities are out there. The hackers also know that that door is open. And I told you, they think differently than us. As soon as they go, oh, there's a problem in Adobe Reader, eh? Oh, so that's how the vulnerability, that's where it is. I wonder what I can do with that. And then they start trying to figure out how to take advantage of it. So when it's announced that there's an update, yes, their companies are trying to tell you to update your software. But it's kind of like waving the go flag to hackers. Like, hey, here's the vulnerability. I wonder what you can do with it. They're on a clock. They know it. They're trying to race to figure out how to use that vulnerability and trick people to take advantage of it. You know, phishing emails, scams, links to websites to try to get you infected, try to get a piece of software in to take advantage of that. It's a race, folks. When those patches come out, it's a race. Can the hackers develop something to do something bad to your system before you install the update to block them from doing it? Simple as that. It becomes a race. All right. That's what I got for you today on Scott on Security. Thanks a lot for joining me. And as I like to say, stay safe out there.